Smacking Off the Podcast's college football wrap-up is brought to you by Doyle Hardgrave Construction, and also by $8 a month auto insurance.
Less than $100 a year, but we still got you covered.
And now, Smacking Off's college football wrap-up with your host, Shannon Madden.
And welcome back to Smacking Off the Podcast. I'm your host, Shannon Madden. I'm joined with Doug Phillips. What's up, Doug?
What's going on?
I have moved into the 20th century. I have a printer now.
You have?
Yeah, I don't need you to print me off anything anymore. I'm independent now. I'm a man.
You said print off.
I'm a man. I want to give a shout-out to Adam Mullis real quick. Is that his name, Mullis? M-U-L-L-I-S?
You know, I think.
Yeah.
He's the drama guy?
He popped up in group, actually from some shit. I believe it was from 100, if I remember correct.
Cowboy Adam in the house. I got to go ahead and stop that.
Oh, Cowboy Outlaw in the house,
Absolutely.
ladies and gentlemen.
Clint Clark in the house.
Clint Clark in the house. What up, Clint? Hadn't had him on in a while.
No, we're going to. God damn it.
Oh, that's wonderful. We need more of that in our
life.
I
don't have it set up, but I'm pretty sure that if our people get with his people, we can pull this together.
Yeah, I think Clint. I think Clint will play ball with us. I really do. But no, going back to this Adam Mullis thing, he apparently got into some beef with Nikki, who I think Nikki's either admin or a mod over at 100. That's Bert's group. Brett Tears, contributor to the show.
Yep.
And apparently they had a little bit of a tiff over there. He's a dog fan, and as you know, she's a Florida fan. And there's a lot of things that happened to both of those fan bases over the weekend. Demoralizing things, some might say. Georgia in particular. But we're going to talk about that here in just a minute. This is about Adam Mullis right now and what we did to him in group. We didn't do anything to him in group. He just popped up in group and started posting a bunch of shit about Nikki. Something about Nikki being an emo blowfish or something. I don't. It was the weirdest exchange I've seen in Smack in quite some time.
He learned all this by looking at pictures of her.
No, apparently he had invented a character by the name of Chet. Excuse me, Chet is a real person.
Yeah.
No, he really invented this guy named Chet, and apparently Chet used to date Nikki 15 years ago or something, and Nikki has no.
I have a request,
knowledge
guys.
Of this whatsoever.
Somebody watching right now, if you got a lot of friends, do a watch party on this right here, because if I do that shit, they're gonna shut.
Yeah,
shut us down.
Facebook has really been fucking hard with Doug. I think that might have something to do with this Adam Mullis thing. I don't know.
I don't know. I think it's something else, but I think it's the fact that I have 4,500 friends that I don't know, and they realize I don't know them, and I'm doing watch parties.
How about? I think it's because Mark Zuckerberg is a big old bitch, and that's kind of what's going on here. Yeah. Mark Zuckerberg does not care about every member of his social media network, just the ones that are helping him, get things prepared for the big introduction into the Chinese market.
You have any idea who this fellow is?
It's Jack Black. It's either Jack Black.
It's not.
It's either Jack Black or Jesus.
It's not. It's not. Neither of those.
Who is it?
That's Lanny Poffo.
Leapin' Lanny Poffo. Leapin' Lanny Poffo was Randy Savage's cousin, I think it was, or something.
Brother.
Okay.
Brother.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right.
I see the resemblance now. In that particular photo, I definitely see the resemblance.
Yep.
Except without all of the suntan and cocaine.
Yeah.
Yeah, Randy.
Did he used to tell poems or some shit?
Yeah.
And they were like,
he was the genius there for a while. Remember that? That's him as the genius, isn't it?
Yeah. Somebody did a watch party.
Yeah. Excellent.
Was that you?
No, I didn't do shit.
Hell yeah! Whoever did that shit.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah, man.
It certainly wasn't Adam Mullis, that's for damn sure.
So let's
He's
look
not
at
allowed in hashtag Family Smack anymore.
Let's look at these fucking scores. LSU is for real.
No,
They're for real.
We're not going to start from the top and work our way down and talk about Alabama
first.
Go ahead. I mean, we're Alabama fans. I think that's only fair.
Go ahead.
Alabama won.
By 19.
Yeah, they did win by 19 at College Station, too, which is, from what I heard, is supposed to be a tough place to play. Alabama made it look pretty easy, though. That 8 points at the end, I think that was kind of like a pity hand job for old Jimbo. You know, Jimbo used to work with Nick. And if I remember correct, Nick is still 100% perfect against all of his assistants. Is that correct? Did I remember that right?
Yep.
Roll Tide. Clemson had a very convincing win against FSU, and I don't know. I've actually been chatting with Sean Devine, frequent show contributor, and about this win. He doesn't believe that anybody beating or FSU by 30 or more points, 31 points to be exact, was impressive, and I think that certainly is. This is not your Bobby Bowden FSU team, of course. There are no national championship aspirations, but for them to be able to handle an in-conference rival like FSU to the tune of 31 points, that speaks volumes about where Clemson's at right
I will
now.
just say this: I would have rather played FSU at home as an Alabama fan than going on the road to College Station and playing Texas
yeah,
A&M.
absolutely.
And I don't know how good A&M is, but I believe they beat FSU.
I think both wins are very impressive. There are a few people that are pointing to the fact that Alabama has definitely allowed some of these teams like Ole Miss, for example, to score late and kind of run the score up a little bit. Nah, I don't give a fuck. I mean, when you've got offenses, both of the offenses that Alabama and Clemson have. That are clicking on all cylinders. I mean, you don't have to put as much emphasis on defense. And plus, too, I like the fact that as an Alabama fan to see Nick put those new players in late, that's valuable playing experience to play against a talented squad like Texas A&M, even if they're not doing the 100% Saban way. They're learning very quickly what's going on, and I think that's going to help later on in the season. Moving right along.
I haven't really looked at the scores, guys. Was there any upsets this weekend? I didn't hear about any upsets.
South Carolina and Georgia played a game over the weekend that South Carolina, nobody in the world except for maybe a couple Gamecock fans in the deep
there were some
recesses
Georgia
of their
fans that
heart.
they weren't saying that South Carolina was going to win, but there was Georgia fans saying this game's going to be a lot closer than you'll think.
Yeah, and it was. It was actually so
Pretty
close
damn
that
close,
Georgia lost in 2 overtimes. A game that they should not have lost.
It looked like one of those games to me. Like I've seen these games before. It's like the W was a hot potato.
Yeah.
And one team gets it and they say, nope, you take this shit.
Yeah,
And Georgia just kept throwing it back to South Carolina, and they finally said, fuck it.
Uga has looked suspect in spots throughout the season, particularly with the class that they've got coming in. Remember the big 5-star class? They had this record number of 5-star players.
How many of those guys they lose?
They lost quite a few of them. They lost enough to be able to lose to a pretty mediocre South Carolina team by a field goal. I don't know. I can't really call this one an upset. I believe that the consensus on the show was that Florida could actually handle LSU, and that was false. That was a false statement. LSU, it took them a little while to really clamp down on the win, but once the defense kind of came in to play some ball, that was it. It was pretty well over. I know the score doesn't seem too terribly lopsided, but it really was a decisive LSU victory in the end.
It was close. It was a close game.
Oh yeah, it was a nail biter all the way up until well into the third quarter, and then I don't know, just LSU really.
It was still a one-possession game going into the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
I don't know. You could just tell by the style of play that things were that definitely the winds had changed in the game in the fourth quarter. It was all LSU all the time.
Yep.
Both sides of the ball.
If I'm an LSU fan, I'm a little concerned about Trask. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Trask had his way with LSU for a while in that game, and
Trask, you mean Florida's backup quarterback?
Yeah,
correct?
he's no Tua.
Yeah, he's definitely no Tua. And if we want to use this game as a metric, which I don't really know how you can.
You can't.
I really don't know what's going to come of the Alabama LSU matchup coming up in a couple weeks.
It's going to be a big one.
Other than the fact it's going to be a good game, and I really expect it to be a nail biter that goes all the way down to the end. One that I definitely thought was going to be a nail biter going all the way down to the end was Oklahoma Texas.
Yeah, it was. Texas come back and scored late, and that's a touchdown.
This was the best rivalry ever, according to Tim Bailey.
So you thought it would be 34-33?
I thought it would be a 34-33 matchup, and I mean,
Actually,
34-27.
typically it's 48-47.
Now, my takeaway on this was pretty much about the game that we thought we were going to see. I was a little surprised that there wasn't a higher score for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it was a good game. It was a good game from beginning to end. I know Tim Bailey was worried there for a little bit, and that made me happy. Wisconsin gave us no drama whatsoever in their decisive win against Michigan State.
I think it's time to ask this question. Is Wisconsin possibly the best team in the country?
Perhaps. We know that they easily have the best running back in the country right now with Taylor.
And they got a
They have a
hellacious
hell of a
defense.
defense. I mean, to hold Michigan
That's their
State to
fourth-
absolute 0
That's
points.
That's their fourth shutout, which is unheard of in this day and era.
But what's also unheard of is Wisconsin actually making a serious playoff run, because for some reason or another they've always seemed to
But they
falter somewhere along the line.
They typically don't look this good, though.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you what, the Big Ten is there's a lot of bright spots in the Big Ten right now that are eventually going to devour themselves as the season go along. Minnesota, which I don't know if you have them listed or not, but they won, and they're
I don't have them listed. I do have
they
them.
have snuck into the top
I have them
25.
in my. I have them
Still
in,
undefeated.
I have them in my new top 10 because I mean they're Power 5 and they're 6-0. I mean they just beat Nebraska just like Ohio State did.
Yeah, like you're supposed
They
to
were
be.
at home. But,
Yeah.
Jonathan Taylor. Speaking of which, this guy is. He may win the fucking Heisman. I mean, I just.
Do you really think, though, with the quarterbacks that we have this year and the chatter about all of the quarterbacks this year, that Jonathan Taylor really has a serious chance to win what is essentially usually a quarterback award? Not always, because, we're, as Alabama fans, we know running backs win it all the time.
I'll just say this: as impressive as this game was, these aren't Heisman numbers. 26 carries, 80 yards. That's not a lot of yards per carry.
No.
But I don't know. His name is still staying in the. I mean, if he has a monster game against Ohio State, he's going to jump to number one probably.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And I don't know about number one, but he'll definitely be in the top 3. I mean, it would. There's so much season left over that we've got several really good players to consider. One of those, of course, is LSU's Joe Burrow, who I hate to say anything good about LSU on the show, but whatever.
No, he had a great game last night.
He did. Through 21 for 24. I mean, that's retarded good.
Yeah.
Almost 300 yards, 3
No-
TDs,
no
and
INTs.
no interceptions whatsoever. QBR 96.2. That's some good numbers. That's balling.
Yep.
It's making it happen. Which looks somewhat similar to a take it's over.
Yeah, that guy.
Not
Tagovailoa.
not as efficient. 21 for 34.
Actually, it's Tagovailoa. Sorry.
Tagovailoa, yes. Even though there's no U there, that always goofs me up. Also threw for 293, but threw for 4 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
But there is that one interception.
Yeah.
Still been pretty efficient this season, though. Hasn't given up too many of them.
Yep.
I think he's up to like 4 or 5 for the season. Something
Like that. We got to mention this, but I mean we were just talking about Minnesota, but and we always try to throw something in about some surprise teams, and I realize we got SMU also at 6-0. SMU is also a Power 5 team, and I'm sorry they're a Group of 5 team, but these are. These are three
Power 6.
Yeah, these are 3 Power 5 schools. Baylor. I mean, more than likely,
I'm looking at their schedule, and have you seen
the
their
losses
schedule
are fixing to
for the
start coming
next
in?
5 games? The next 5 games, they're going to lose at least 3 or 4. I can almost guarantee you that.
How about Minnesota? Have you looked at their schedule?
Minnesota, they've got Penn State, I believe, next. Isn't that Penn State next week?
Mm-mm.
Who's playing?
they're-
Minnesota plays somebody.
They play like Maryland soon, and they play 2 real winnable games next, and then Penn State I think after that. Which
That's what it. That's yeah. That,
Could be
that's-
our-
I
could
know
be-
Penn State's coming up pretty soon.
could be our game of the week.
Could be.
Herm Edwards.
5-1. This is at first it was kind of cute, but this is actually looking serious. And somewhat keeping the pack in contention along with Oregon and Utah, who is also both of those teams are also 5-1.
Yep.
So it's interesting to see. I mean, really, the pack is still hanging in there, but it's going to take a major shakeup up top for them to be able to creep in at this point, I think.
All right, so LSU jumps.
Anything can happen, though. This college football is crazy.
LSU jumps from 5th to 2nd in the AP poll over Clemson. Knocks Clemson out of 2nd.
I mean, we've talked about.
They're trying to build this Alabama LSU game up.
Absolutely, man. I mean, what's sexier than a 1 versus 2? The road to the national championship definitely leads through this game.
Yep.
Barring any kind of major catastrophe, because we still we're 2 weeks away from this game.
3 weeks. I think.
3 weeks. Either one of those teams have a bye week. I need to pull that up on the.
I think Alabama's already got their bye week out of the way at this point.
They did. Now I don't know if
no,
LSU
they may have
does.
a bye week before LSU. They typically.
But I mean, the way Alabama's been playing, though, it seems like just about every week's a bye week.
Seems that way sometimes.
Sometimes. Again, a lot of people are still pointing to that 28 points. Ole Miss is 31 points. I believe there's an article floating around right now that's kind of making a bigger deal about it than what should be
Missouri
said.
got fucking dissed. Look, there is no Missouri logo here. I pulled this off. Huh?
At 22.
Yeah. Missouri could win the fucking East. They're 5-1.
I know. Those
you don't think they'll beat Florida or any of those?
Yeah, I really don't. I mean, you still have, even though we saw some pretty, and that, I can't take too much away from Florida because it is LSU, and LSU's playing a little bit differently than we've normally seen LSU play.
Offensively, yes.
Yeah, but Georgia had no fucking excuse for that shit. So and they got exposed horribly. For them to have as much talent, I can't stress that enough. That everybody made so much about the what was the recruiting class a couple of years ago, and this is that class. This is what's left of them, anyways. The ones that didn't transfer out or get kicked off the squad or get arrested for whatever.
Well, what happens if Uga wins out, though? They're going to be there.
Yeah, they could be. It depends on who else is winning out at that point, too, because I don't see anything stopping either Clemson or Oklahoma at this point. Ohio State, I believe, is the one that plays Penn State next. Isn't that right?
I don't think so.
Let me double check that. Because I looked one of
them.
No,
I would have said that was game of the week. I can tell you who Penn State plays this week.
Ohio State plays Northwestern this week.
Yeah, Penn State plays Michigan this week.
That's what I knew there was another.
And I wanted
really,
to do
really
that as our game
matchup.
of the. I wanted to do that as our game of the week next week, but we can't find a Wolverine. They won't. They hide right now.
That's probably a good idea, and especially if they lose to Penn State, which that's going to be.
They're playing a night game at Happy Valley, and it's going to be a wideout. They're going to lose.
Yeah. So does that drop them at? I don't know if that's going to drop them completely out of the top 25. It really depends. I mean, we've still got some undefeated Group of 5 teams hanging around. Again, we mentioned SMU a moment ago.
Mm-hmm.
You still got Boise, who won very convincingly over the weekend at 14.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying, App State's in. App State's number 24 this week.
Yeah, they're 6-0 or 5-0.
Yeah.
They're 5-0.
So all of this really spells a really good chance for UAB to creep into the top 25 before the end of the season. We'll go Blazers.
Especially if they beat Tennessee.
I joked about that at the very beginning of the season, and I know that they won a game. I think finally, didn't they win a game this week?
Yes.
Yeah, it was Fresno State, wasn't it?
Who?
Tennessee. Who Tennessee beat?
Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. Oh,
Fresno State.
Fresno State, Mississippi State, whatever.
It's all the same to you?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Which one of those are in the SEC?
I have no idea why I said Fresno State. That's amazing to me.
Well, they're in the West, so
they are in the West.
Fresno State,
way out west.
Yeah.
The
SEC West.
Yeah, the SEC West. The SEC West Western Division. Oh,
all right,
boy.
so
I haven't had enough coffee for this podcast tonight. It's been like dull and rainy here today. I've been pitting around the house, and now I'm like in fat and happy mode. I ate steak for dinner tonight.
Yep.
Like a winner.
All right, so man, we got to talk about these fucking losers for the week. And hey, this one's got to be the number one. It's more than what you think it is. I'll actually explain it when we get there, but we got to hold that. You can pick the rest of them, damn it.
What the fuck is that noise?
It's nothing that I've heard.
I'm hearing a noise.
Hello.
You don't hear the noise?
No.
I don't know. It might just be my imagination. I told you I haven't had enough coffee for this thing yet.
Shannon, California Dreaming. Yep.
It's not that one.
Well, fuck it. Anyway, we got to talk about the losers of the week, the biggest losers of the week. And I'm going to go ahead and throw these guys.
Adam Mollis is the biggest loser of the
I'm
week.
going to throw this up here, and Sean Devine's not going to like this. I say Notre Dame is they're the fifth biggest loser of the week, and I'm going to say that because their most impressive loss was against Georgia, and then Georgia loses to fucking South Carolina.
I don't really like to do things like that.
Oh, you got to.
I mean, Sean Devine did disagree with me on Facebook earlier, so I don't know.
You're kinda mad?
I'm more inclined to agree with you just for that one reason. But I don't know. Games like that.
I mean, do you think it hurts Notre Dame at their resume?
I mean, possibly it does. It depends on what happens to South Carolina for the remainder of the season.
Absolutely.
If South Carolina just suddenly comes out of nowhere,
Well, you know who their coach is.
Yeah,
I don't know how they beat Georgia. It was like the hot potato syndrome, like I said. They just kept throwing it back and forth to one another. They're not going to win a lot of games. You can bet your ass on that.
Okay.
Muschamp don't win. He typically don't win those kind of games.
That's the Doug Phillips lock of the week.
Yeah. But anyway, and of course we got to go ahead and throw them in there since we threw Notre Dame under the bus. The reason is because of these fucking.
Yeah, Georgia Bulldogs. I cannot stress enough to what a mediocre team that was that they lost to. And you know, how do you unprepare for any SEC team, even Vanderbilt in this day and age? I don't know. God, so bad, so fucking bad.
Well, let's just go ahead and throw this up in there too. Oh shit, I like that. Kind of goes behind there. Yeah, sure, why not? No,
Yeah,
let's
we
stick
can
it-
really stop talking about how amazing it is that the SEC East is back because they, with Tennessee pretty much a dumpster fire.
right, and they were one of their winners this
With
week.
you seriously, and you had some serious conviction in your voice for half a second when you suggested that Missouri could win the East. That right there,
I actually still believe that.
that right there should put an exclamation point on you pulling that SEC East graphic up among the losers of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of where we're at right now, and it's so quickly how fast it happened.
I mean, I still think that Florida or Georgia will take control, but you can't rule out Missouri at 5-1, and they've given Florida fits.
Yeah,
they beat Florida last year. They beat Florida like a fucking drum last year.
But yeah, SEC is having a harder time making a convincing argument that they are the strongest of the Power Five. When honestly, I think that right now belongs to the Big Ten, and I don't think should be much debate about that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Nebraska's down. and
Scott
out.
Frost, dude.
Frost warning.
God.
The frost warning is for the Nebraska fans.
The frost warning has to do with that seat of his that is actually getting alarmingly hot.
Man, he ain't gonna lose his job this year.
No, not this year, but at the same time, it's definitely going to have a cloud over this next season. No two ways around it. We see some more of this next year, and yeah, that could become a really serious conversation very quick. And this
shit.
guy.
Let's go ahead and let me get it set first, because I want it right there. All right. Biggest loser of the week. What?
Yeah, you got to do horns down, dude. You can't just like
Oh,
pop
sorry.
that up like that. Yeah,
Biggest loser of the week. Tom Herman's big game mystique.
you can't flip that upside down.
Can you not? I could, but no, I can't. But hey, let's talk about this for a second.
Yeah.
Every time that Texas is in a big game, everybody always says, Tom Herman is so incredible in big games.
Yeah.
You have to admit it's starting to fall apart. That
He's
fucking
not.
yeah, and that
He's
is
really not.
that took the. I mean, seriously, it took a hit in the LSU game, but it's really just about dismantled at this point. If I say Tom Herman's big game mystique, will you hit the laugh track?
Yeah, I can do that. Well,
All
let's
right.
see. Let me get it real quick. Okay. All right.
Tom-
Everybody ready?
Yep. Tom
All right.
Herman's big game mystique. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's about the size of that. Yeah, he. I mean, I don't know. There's not really a whole hell of a lot that I can take away from that game that I didn't know already going into the game. Oklahoma had way more talent. We knew that. We also knew that Texas doesn't really have much of a defense. In fact, Texas this year kind of looked a little bit like Oklahoma last year. Without just this amazing. I mean, Ellinger's good. Don't get me wrong, but Hurts still had a. I mean, he had not the usual just oh my god, putting up 900 yards, but he still finished with like 360 total yards. I mean, he had a consistent day and a consistent performance. Cannot say enough good things about CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is still the most, to me, is right now the most amazing wide receiver in college football.
Where was this game at right here? Let's not even talk about the game yet, but where was this game? I think it was I think it was in Nashville.
So you're really trying to cement this point that I just made earlier, huh?
I just want to talk about the fact that UNLV beat Vanderbilt 34-10.
Yeah.
And LSU gave up 38 points to them.
So
in the same stadium, and UNLV is 2-4.
And they're also UNLV.
They're running red.
I remember when they used to have a really good basketball program.
Was that
back in the day.
Jerry
Tarkanian?
Yes.
Yeah. Old Tark.
Old Tark.
Yeah, ball-headed motherfucker.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's probably dead now.
He probably is. That was a good move on his part.
But yeah, Vanderbilt. So I don't know where UNLV ranks defensively, but
yeah, they're ranked all right.
They held Vanderbilt to 10 points.
Wow.
So I mean, yeah, LSU does look for real, but there's that kind of shit that keeps popping up. Now Alabama, everybody was like, "Oh my God, they struggled." They said that Alabama struggled with South Carolina. We played South Carolina in Columbia.
Yeah.
So South Carolina,
and we didn't struggle. There was no struggle in that game.
Sorry,
really.
Georgia would have loved to struggle like that.
Yeah, they would have. They would have, and probably taken advantage of a struggle like that, especially with all that blue chip talent they have.
Yep.
It is what it is.
It is. So, man, let me. Who's left? Not many.
Well, we had a few games we didn't even go over in your original graphic. Pull that back up again because there were still a couple more games on
there. The corn dogs never go away, Sean. They will for a few weeks, then they'll pop back up and start talking about next year.
Yeah, yeah.
And like it's a fucking done deal.
Yeah, they'll completely forget about.
What am I pulling
talk. Pull up that original graphic, the first graphic that had the list of games on it. Because we didn't finish the list of games. We had still like half the list. We stopped at Wisconsin, MSU. Notre Dame, no, I think we talked about Notre Dame, USC.
Yep.
Penn State, Iowa. That was a big matchup. Penn State barely walked out with a win, 17-12.
Yep.
Still undefeated and kicking ass. Boise actually looked really good against Hawaii.
Which Hawaii has looked really good.
Hawaii team that has been putting up some hella points. They definitely got 37 over on Boise, but it didn't matter. Boise with the win on that one.
I think Utah may win out.
Utah 52, Oregon State 7.
Oregon State is still Oregon State, but
yeah, but Utah is. I mean that would be pretty much kind of like if Alabama or Clemson played Oregon State. I feel. So yeah, Utah is definitely trying to make a statement that the Pac is somehow still in it. Michigan beat Illinois 42-25. Big fucking whoop. Arizona State, of course, beat Washington State in a game that I believe who was it? Divine last week said that Washington State with a win, or was that our
no? That was
guest picker.
Yeah, it was Mike Richardson.
Yeah.
Mike Richardson. That was one of your 3 losses.
Yeah, you lost that one. And Louisville beat a ranked Wake team 62-59 in a barn burner.
I wanna go ahead and say this, and in no way am I picking an upset here, but I'm saying this is a game to keep your eye on next week. Clemson goes to Louisville. Louisville is capable of scoring points.
Obviously, I mean, again, this is
and that's
one of the best Wake teams we've seen in a while.
The weird upsets come from this direction. They
Yeah.
always do.
Yeah. What happens if
Dane, fuck you.
because
Before
this
you
is
say anything.
yeah, Dane is definitely he's slurring right now. He's slurring.
Not
and throwing a bottle.
Who's
at
slurring
someone.
worse right now, Dane or President Pike?
Ooh. President Pike is apparently, from what he said, he's single now. So he's out there getting that tail.
Yeah.
Is he's back from Las Vegas, right? Did he make it back?
Yeah,
because he's been watching the games, been going to the national
he had to pawn
games.
his Rolex to get home. I think
No,
he didn't.
No, he pawned somebody else's Rolex. You know that. Hashtag lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Yes, sir.
Hashtag fake profiles.
All right.
They wouldn't let me back in SEC Smack, by the way. Did we talk about that?
You mentioned it.
Yeah, I'm still a little raw about that.
I'm not.
So Dave LaRue, Dave Marshall, Bobby Weston, come on, guys.
Fuck you,
This
motherfuckers.
has been long enough now. This
God
is
damn it!
bullshit.
I want back in. No, I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
we got to get back in. Please
I-
let me
I
back
don't
in.
want-
Please.
I don't want back
oh my
in.
God. Oh my God! Please let me back in. This is fucking bullshit. It's football season, and I'm not
Listen,
back in your
guys.
fucking group. What the fuck?
I will sacrifice my membership for the duration of my life if you'll let my buddy Madden back in.
That's awful sweet of you.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about going back in there.
Is Melissa May still friends with those guys over there?
I don't know. She did get the
I
smack.
thought she hung out.
She got a smack medallion or some shit. in the
She
mail.
she like hung out at the lake with a couple of them, didn't she?
The lake.
Yeah.
We gotta go.
Jeremy Van Treese, R.I.P.
All right, we got a good show this week. I don't know who's gonna be on it, but it's gonna be fucking
Man,
good.
it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be the best show we've done yet, I think.
Actually, we got a pack game that's gonna be our main game of the week. I believe it's gonna be Arizona State and Utah.
You mean the game of the week? You mean Tennessee's not playing this week?
Tennessee and Alabama are playing. Aren't they? Alabama's favored by 30. But anyway, guys,
Does Alabama cover?
30? No,
That's your Doug Phillips lock of the week.
they won't. They won't cover. They're gonna win by like 28 or something.
Okay.
All right, guys, y'all have a good night and